Caesar and the Senate. Julius Caesar was popular with the people of Rome, but he wasn't popular with the Senate. The Senate was a group of rich, powerful men who had most of the power in Rome. The Senate helped to take care of Rome. The consuls were supposed to listen to what the Senate said, but Caesar didn't pay very much attention to the Senate. He did what he pleased. The Senate was unhappy about this. They were suspicious of Caesar. What if he wants to become king? They asked each other. What will happen to Rome? What will happen to us? One man should not rule Rome. We should govern Rome together so that no single man has all the power in Rome. If only Caesar were like Cincinnatus. Who was Cincinnatus? He was a legendary Roman who represented the ideal ruler of Rome. Here is the story of Cincinnatus. Once upon a time, Cincinnatus was a consul of Rome, but he lost his wealth, retired from his high position, and became a farmer instead. He spent his days planting wheat and tending grapes. But he was so wise and well-loved that Romans came to him from all over to ask his advice. Now Rome was the strongest city in the world. But one day, Rome heard disturbing news. A tribe of barbarians was headed towards Rome, burning and plundering everything in their path. They had sworn to conquer Rome and kill its people. The Romans weren't afraid yet. After all, the Roman army was the most powerful in the world. So they sent their most skillful soldiers to stop the barbarians. The soldiers rode out of Rome, splendid in shining armor and scarlet cloaks. The women and children cheered and waved. "Come back in glory and triumph," they called out. "Come back in victory." They waited day after day after day. Finally, they saw dust in the distance. Horsemen were approaching the city, but what had happened to the Roman army? Only 5 dirty, blood-stained soldiers were returning. They galloped through the gates into the center of the city and told their story, gasping with pain and weariness. "The barbarians are too strong for us," they said. "They attacked us at a narrow mountain pass. They came at us from behind and from ahead. And meanwhile, they threw rocks at us from the hills above us. Send help to our army at once, or Rome will fall." The Senate was terrified. "All our strongest soldiers have already gone," the senators said to each other. "We only have boys left. Who can lead them into battle?" Suddenly, one senator said, "Cincinnatus. Let us send for Cincinnatus. He is our only hope." Cincinnatus was out working in his fields when the senators arrived at his house. He washed the dirt off his hands and listened to their pleas. "If you will lead the reinforcements into battle," they promised him, "we will make you the king of Rome." So Cincinnatus returned to the city with them and became the leader of the reinforcements. He armed the boys and taught them how to fight, and then led them out towards the mountains to rescue the Roman army. Cincinnatus was so wise and crafty that this troop of boys beat off the barbarians, drove them back to the mountains, and brought the rest of the Roman army home. They marched back into Rome with triumphs blaring and people cheering. "Be our king, Cincinnatus," the people of Rome begged. "We will give you all the power. You can do whatever you want." But Cincinnatus took off his armor and gave his banner back to the Senate. "No," he said, "Rome does not need a king. I give all my power back to the senators. They should make your laws." And he went back to his fields and his grapes, leaving the Senate in charge of Rome. Cincinnatus was the ideal Roman. He served his city when he was needed, but then he gave his power back to the Senate. But Caesar wouldn't behave like Cincinnatus. He kept on gathering power. He became more and more popular. One day, the senators said to each other, "Caesar will try to become king of Rome. Then what will we do?"